before we get started though, if you can subscribe to this channel, and if you like the video, like it, comment, ask me a question, do something. I'm trying to build this channel up a little bit, and it helps out in the build here and future projects. So just please comment, subscribe, like the video if you like it. Alright, doing a quick how-to on spark plugs, valve cover gaskets on a 2006 Mercury Milan. This is a 3-liter V6. It'll work on Ford Fusions. First is the coil packs have an 8mm bolt on them. Just pop those out, pull the coil packs out. You just push these clips down, pull it out. Same with this clip here, and then this one, you just slide the green over, pull that out of the way. This is loose. Might have to disconnect that, not sure yet. The valve cover bolts are 8 mils. What I'm going to do is I'm going to show you how to do the valve cover gasket on this side and spark plugs on this side. Show you how to pull off the intake manifold, and then you could figure out how to do the back side from the video I did on the front. Now the coil packs sitting there, just 8 mil, pop that out. See, mine are covered in oil. So are the spark plugs. I'll show you those when I pull them out. But that's why this car is a misfire. I think the one coil pack on the back is bad. I have a code specifically for that one coil pack, so I have a replacement coil pack. Don't get it at the parts store, get it off of Amazon. This was like $20 on Amazon or $24 on Amazon. Parts store one like $95. I got 6 spark plugs, got oil filter and some oil, because I'm also going to do that while I'm doing this car. A grommets, I guess these are for the bolts. These are for the PCV valves on the valve covers, spark plug boots, and the actual valve cover gaskets themselves. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to pull these 10mm bolts all the way around. There's one here, 1, 2. Yeah, I'll show you. I think there's one here. There's one there. Here, here. And I believe these ones are going to come out. If they don't, I'll show you. Valve cover off. You notice is this orange, that's factory RTV. So just note where that goes, and that's where you're going to be putting a new dab of RTV. So like there in that corner. See, it's right where the timing case meets the actual head. Here too, and then there and there. So that's what you're going to do. You're going to clean up the surface, and then we're going to put dabs of RTV in that corner. There was 3 bolts on each side, on this side, 3 on this side, so you can see the holes there. There's a couple at the bottom, they're hard to get to, and then in the center of the valve cover there's also 2. And then you can see these are the seals, those grommet seals, so I'll show you how to replace those too. The valve cover off. Here these seals are, so we're going to pick these out of there, and then we're going to clean up the surface of this. We're going to match up. I'm not sure if the valve covers are different or not, but we're going to try and match up which gasket fits in there the best. Alright, you can see I got one done. There it is. So what I did is I pulled these off in order, and so they don't get mixed up. So here's the old seal. So what I'm going to do first is I'm going to work on changing all these seals. The razor blade would probably work. They're so old and dry rotted. See, look, it just ripped. Yeah, shit. Came right off. Should also, this one's got some shit on there, so clean up the flange. There's some gook in there. And shove that sucker on there. And that one's done. Not sure if I mentioned it, but I just took this coil pack harness and just tucked it over the side. There was just one extra clip here, and I just put that out to the side. These 2 bolts that we're holding this cover on are 8mm. They're just nuts, and then underneath it's the 10 mils that hold the valve covers down. Well, careful when you do this. There's this PCV valve here, but just pop this stud out like that. They go in the center ones I was telling you I forgot about. and then do the same thing, put a seal on there, do the same for the front and the back. And then next, we're going to take a razor blade, clean up all this off of here, and clean up any residual oil, and then we're going to try and get these seals out. Head screwdriver, and just pick the sucker out. There's 3 in each one, 6-cylinder. You suck it all of that material out of there. In a sense of opening those oil containers just for that. Each valve cover gasket is different, so they only will go one way. This cutout here is for that front thing that comes off the cam. I'm not exactly sure what that is, but it has a belt on it, and that's only on the front, not on the rear. So the other valve cover gasket is different. So dab the corners a little bit with RTV. Okay, tightening the last spark plug up. I ran all the valve cover bolts down. That's tight. And I don't want to tighten them all down with that little zipper, so I'm just going to snug them all by hand. These coils that need to go in next, but they're all covered in oil, so what I'm going to do is grab some of this electronics parts cleaner. Just hose them off a little bit. Make sure there's no oil in there. This cover back on, 2 8mm, this is all tight. The wires are back in. First thing I did was I removed this clip, pulled a little red tab out, and then moved that out of the way. We have one hose here, another hose there, clip back there, and then I just took the bolt out of here just to loosen this up and get it out of the way. And then I just cracked all these loose. There's 4 bolts here, and 1, 2, 3, 4 in there. They're 8mm, so I'm gonna pull those out the rest of the way and then tell you what else you have to remove. Oh, there's an electrical connector right there too. That's out. So I'm gonna pull that, see what else I can leave in place or have to disassemble. Okay, I got the intake manifold off. I loosened this intake tube from the throttle body, but you can leave that on. What I did was I took the 4 10mm bolts out of the throttle body, these ones here, and take that off the intake, because there's coolant lines going to the throttle body, and I don't want to have to rebleed and lose coolant all over my floor. I ended up taking the EGR off of it. There's a bolt here, here, and here through your 8 mils, and slide up out of the way. We're going to disconnect the coil packs next. Take the coil packs out. This one, according to my scanner, is bad. It's number 3, so it goes 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It's the number of the cylinders. So we're gonna do that. Pull the coil packs out. I have rags shoved inside the intake manifold holes. When you do this, make sure the throttle body gasket goes back in. It fell out, so when everything goes back together, it'll go back in. Right now I'm gonna get the power steering reservoir out of the way, pull that up out of there, loosen up all the valve cover bolts, pull it out, clean it up, do exactly as I did. If I run into any other issues or anything I should note, it's exactly how to do the front, how I just showed you. But I'm going to do that one, and if there's anything different, that's what I'll show you. Something notable, I just pulled this out of cylinder number 3. This is the one I had a code for in a misfire. Look at this thing. It is just melt. As soon as I pulled this out of the spark plug well, the coil just smells like burning plastic. Like it's like, I wish you could smell how like melted this is. It smells like it just came out of a fire. It smells like a burning tire. Like this whole entire coil is just beat. Be an update onto how I got the back valve cover off. I'm just gonna warn you now, it is terrible to do. I can't even remember what else I took off, but there was a bracket holding these hoses here that had to be removed. There's the power steering here. I couldn't get to this clamp here, so I went and jacked the car up and clipped that off and pulled the hose out. Power steering fluid ended up everywhere. Spark plugs are out currently. I can't even remember. It's going to be a pain in the ass to get it back on. I had to be a contortionist to get the last couple bolts. There's one here, and one here. That one wasn't so bad, but these other two in this corner were terrible. So was the one in that corner, the very corner bolt. The intake wasn't fun to get off, as I was showing you, and neither was that. I had to remove the studs that held the power steering reservoir on to get the reservoir off and out of my way, because it wouldn't come. I tried to sneak the valve cover off. It would have, but this little guy here was deciding against me, so that will cause you some grief. And I had to unclip a couple other plugs here, but it's not the worst job I've ever done, but it's definitely not the funnest. So you're just here working on the car, elbow the hood prop, the hood comes flying down, smashes you in the back of the head, so you go next door to the bar and grab a beer. While the car was up in the air, I drained the oil, because I'm changing that. Swap the filter, so now all I have to do is add fluid, and I'm going to have to add power steering fluid too now. I wasn't expecting that, but I believe I have some here in stock. So if you get to this point, it's pretty simple. Throw the valve cover back on after you're able to contortion it back on, and tighten that all up. Throw spark plugs in. Intake manifold's reverse of taking it off, so is everything else. Throw some oil in it, start it up, and I'll continue. I got everything back together. Power steering's back on. I have to unclip the hose from the bottom of the power steering pump, put that back in, refilled it, rebled it. It's running, but it's not firing the new coil pack. Remember, I showed this coil pack was burnt. This is going to be a separate video of how to diagnose a faulty computer. What happened is this coil pack melts, or it melts something in the computer, or the computer melts and then melts the coil pack. Either way, I'm going to show you how you diagnose that. But basically, the spark plug valve cover job is done, wrapped up, car runs. On a normal car, if the valve cover went bad, you'd want to change that stuff. There'll be a separate video to this. It's going to go up just about the same time this video goes up, of how to diagnose this coil pack.